Hey, family, this is Dr. William Clark here. Glad to be with y'all for another episode here. Did you know that there's a cost to flying blind? Did you know that there's a cost to flying blind and there's a cost to having no strategy? This is what we're talking about today, the cost of flying blind and why you need a strategy always for your organization. I'm super excited to talk about this with you today. Before we get started, if you have not done so already, go ahead and get your copy of my latest book, Built to Fund, The Fundable Nonprofit. It's a strategic workbook for raising money, building capacity, and sustaining impact. I wrote this book specifically for you and I hope you go ahead and get your copy. If you want to get your copy today, go ahead, click the link below or above this video, download your copy. We also have cases of books available for teams. So if you want to go ahead and purchase a case of the paperbacks, go ahead and purchase that, and we will get that out to you as soon as possible. So now let's talk about this, the cost of flying blind. What happens when you don't have strategy? Well, the first thing that happens is you have significant inefficiency. So our organizations are designed to provide a service, right? Your nonprofit, your government, your department is designed to provide a service. And without that service, your customers are going without. One of the things we talk about often on our various channels and our various trainings here is the importance of seeing them, keeping the main thing the main thing. And what's the main thing? Our customers. Our customers are the reason we're in business. Our customers are the reason we have operations. Our customers are the reason why we do what we do. And so, since we serve our customers, we have to be super conscious and sensitive to the fact that we have the responsibility to be efficient with the services we provide. Can you imagine what it's like to go to a public entity like the DMV or Department of Social Services, and you go to access services that you paid taxes into, but it takes hours, days, weeks, months to get the response and the action that you need? Now, some of you may be listening to this and saying, "Hey, man, I went through that last week," and you know how challenging it can be. I want you to juxtapose that to the work that you do and how challenging it may be for your customers to get a hold of you, get a hold of your colleagues, get a hold of your team, and the services are inefficient. The communication is inefficient. The feedback is inefficient. The response is inefficient. And folks feel like they just can't get ahead when it comes to getting services from your organization. I want to tell you, this is part of the challenge of flying blind because we don't have a strategy that responds to the needs of the customers. It can become very difficult for them to see their connecting point to you and to see your organization as a viable service to help them with their need. We got to have strategy in place. We got to have systems in place. Now, part of what causes the inefficiency is not having the funding in place as well. So we need the funding in place. We need the resources in place. Now, you may be saying, Dr. Clark, what does funding have to do with this? Why do we have to have this in place? When you don't have the resources in place, it leads to gaps in services. It leads to the lack of offering of services, and it ultimately results in the lack of efficiency in what you're able to offer and creating tension and stress within other levers of the organization that ultimately feel the pain of the lack of efficiency, right? So we're not fully staffed up. We don't have all the resources. We don't have all the supplies. We don't have all the tech. We don't have all the information that we need to do what we got to do. It creates instability, therefore it leads to insufficiency. It's the second thing you got to keep in mind when it comes to flying blind without strategy. Your funders are confused. Now, you have funders who are currently in your portfolio, who support you, who care deeply about what you do, but there are moments where some of your funders may be struggling to understand your purpose and your vision and the outcome that you're trying to target. And therefore, they're confused about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Something that I've said over the years during our various recordings and trainings is that the funders, particularly if you're looking at your institutional funders and your foundations, your program officers, those who release those checks and those dollars to your organizations, they are some of the smartest people. They are some of the most well-rounded people. What makes me say that? These people who work at the foundation, some of them have had careers prior to the foundation. They've had exposure in the field. They've been where you are. In other cases, they are well-rounded researchers who just know best practices when it comes to the work. They've seen the work that you've done in your city, in your state. They've seen national trends as well. They're on the thread to receive communication from other funders about what's happening, what's moving, what's changing. They are tracking the data. No matter the background of your funders, they are some of the smartest, well rounded people. And if they are confused about your work and what you are obligated to do and the work you're obligated to perform, you got a problem, because when there's donor confusion, then there's donor recension. So they rescind their dollars, they rescind their support, and that can create additional challenges for your organization. And it goes back to the first point. It leads to additional inefficiency because their dollars being pulled away means that you have less money to operate in your business. This is why we wrote our book, Built to Fund, right? Because Built to Fund is a concept around creating the structure and the mentality needed to run a successful, efficient, sustainable nonprofit organization or municipality so that you can garner the support from funders and stakeholders alike, right? So if you're in that space where you need to rethink your approach, rethink your operational standards, rethink how to position yourself for financial support from funders, get your copy of the book. Go ahead and download it today. Click the link below. Quick, easy process. Built to fund. The book is ready for you. Download today. Start to work through these challenges. Start to work through these questions that you have right now in your mind so that you can remove the inefficiency and you can remove the funder confusion out of the way and get back to doing what matters most, and that is the work to serve your customers. All right, folks. So we're still talking about the cost of flying blind and what happens when you don't have a strategy in place. So we talked about there are inefficiencies that take place in our organizations. Donors are confused. But then here's another challenge that pops up for us. Our staff begin to get burnt out, and the folks that are vital to our operation, who are critical to our services that we provide to our customers, the people that make our organizations and our programs a reality, they begin to feel overwhelmed. They begin to feel like they can't fulfill services that help our customers, and that ultimately hurts our programmatic efforts because those people who interact with our customers are not feeling great about their jobs. So the value of having a clear strategy is not just for the overall organizational approach that will impact donor support and board support and just overall organizational direction, but for the folks who are executing the vision on the ground and who are making programs a reality. It gives them a direction of where they are heading and their role and responsibility as a part of the journey. So when we are working with our customers to develop strategic plans, we do our best to encourage our customers to obviously include board members, senior staff, key stakeholders who are in external of the organization. But we also encourage the voice of the frontline team who is responsible for executing on the work itself. And we do that because the inclusion of their voice, provides a well-rounded approach to what ultimately becomes the final plan that guides the organization throughout the life cycle of the next strategic plan. So if you're talking about strategic plans or fundraising plans or marketing plans or communication plans or action plans or program development plans, it's helpful to have the inclusion of your frontline staff and their voices because you want to make sure that their efforts are being properly directed and they can feel their connection to the work before they start to feel burnt out because they don't know how they are included or part of this work. Now, here's a fourth thing to consider when it comes to flying blind that can be a huge pain point. And we talk about this in my book, Built to Fund. This is our book focused on raising money, building capacity, and sustaining impact. If you want to get your copy, click the link below to download. But when you don't have a plan, there's financial instability throughout the entire organization, right? And so there may be some income that's coming in, but ultimately the instability comes in because there's no variety, because there's no and more, there's no additional funders who are being added to the portfolio. Funders who would come in are not coming in because there's no plan. We talked about earlier funders who are part of your funding plan and portfolio start to pull away just because they're unsure. That instability can introduce rather a variety of ripple effects that can harm the organization. And so the goal is to bring stability to the entire funding portfolio because of a plan. So we do that because we communicate a clear message to our existing funders. We do this by communicating to potential funders an opportunity for them to on ramp into supporting the organization. We also do this by working with partners who are engaged in the work and they are telling our story. We do this by including individual donors who may want to support us with their own resources. We do this by telling our story to legislators at the state and federal level who may see our organization as a fundable organization. We do this by engaging with partners who may not be funders themselves, but may be the on ramp to partnership that leads to financial connection. Financial stability is critical to every nonprofit organization. And so our plan is not just about execution, it is a connection point to marketing and messaging to those who are part of our journey that they have a role in the journey that we are trying to bring to life. Now, I want to jump over to a quick article read at betterworld.org, and they asked this question: why is fundraising important for your nonprofit organization? And there's a couple of things that I just want to highlight from this article that I think highlights what we talked about already in this recording, but also in our book Built to Fund, which you can download by clicking the link below. A couple of things they talked about as to why fundraising is important and having a clear plan is important to your organization. One, it expands the reach and building community. So we just talked about that, right? We tell the story, we talk about the impact. It drives awareness and engagement. And lastly, it achieves long-term sustainability. This is the whole conversation, right? This is the built to fund model, sustainability long term over an extended period of time, having that conversation with key stakeholders to say, we believe in what we are doing, we believe in our mission, we believe you could be a part of that. And it's all about sustaining our efforts going forward, but we can't do it without you. So not having a plan in place, a strategic plan in place, a fundraising plan in place, it stands in the way of building that support. Now, you may be in a transitional period with your organization where you're looking to build your next fundraising plan or your next strategic plan. Whatever you're looking at doing, the Built to Fund workbook that is available today is a workbook that's focused on helping you articulate your plan of action so that you can attract financial support for the important work that you are doing. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the link below to download your copy Built to Fund, the fundable nonprofit. This strategic workbook was designed specifically with you in mind. Go ahead and download it today. It's ready for you to access today. We also have cases available for you and your team. If you want paper copies of this book where you can work through it with your team, click the link below and follow the prompts, and you'll be able to order those cases today. My name is Dr. William Clark. Glad to be with you today. See you guys next time. Bye, everybody.